न जानामि योगं जपं नैव पूजां नतोऽहं सदा सर्वदा शम्भुतुभ्यं जराजन्म दुःखागतातप्यमानं प्रभो पाहि आपन्नमामीश शम्भो।
A warm welcome to all the devotees on Raksha Sutra English. We are going to narrate wonderful holy stories to all the devotees from the book Miracles of Love by Ramdas Ji, an exclusive devotee of Maharaj Ji. Please listen carefully, all the devotees. I had heard of Maharaj Ji while wandering in India, and I finally found him in Allahabad. My first meeting was in the early morning. Maharaj Ji was in a room on the bed with a Ma. Ma means Indian woman devotee, sitting before him on the floor. There was fruit on the bed. Then out from under the big blanket came his hand. He took some big apples and kept bouncing them off the Ma's chest, but she was totally absorbed in meditation. I sat watching, then suddenly Maharaj Ji looked directly at me. He was like a tree, so grounded, so organic. He flipped me a banana, and it landed right in my hand. I wondered what I should do with the banana, a sacred object. I figured it would be best to eat it. I had come to India from the United States as a devotee in a very intense religious sect. The Guru was the Guru, the final and great savior. After only 2 weeks in his presence, I was dearly disillusioned about him and began to wander about India on my own, still hoping to find the one true and pure Guru somewhere. Several times in my wanderings, someone would tell me of Maharaj Ji and that he was nearby, but I would not go as I felt no particular pull. Finally, I was down near Bombay, still seeking the true Guru, when an old friend showed up. He looked so clear and light that before we even spoke, I determined to go to wherever it was he had just come from. He had just left Maharaj Ji in Vrindavan. I packed my bags and was gone that afternoon. 24 hours later, I was before Maharaj Ji. There were a number of Westerners there. Maharaj Ji did not speak to me, but he kept looking very intently at my heart chakra, psych energy center in the heart area of the body. And what I kept hearing as a voice within me was that my search was over. I had come home. I was sitting for several months in Buddhist meditation in Bodh Gaya. About 2/3 of the way through the second month, this funny-looking little man started to appear in the upper right-hand corner of my awareness. Every so often, he would smile. I wondered who he was and just watched him come and go. Later, I began to suspect that it was Maharaj Ji, whom I would heard about the year before. At the end of the retreat, I opened a copy of the 100,000 songs of Milarepa, and a picture of Maharaj Ji fell out. When we finally got to Vrindavan, where he was supposed to be, we found the gates of the temple locked. Feeling very sad that I had come all this way only to find the gates locked, I went across the street and sat on the culvert. All of a sudden, I felt as if Maharaj Ji had come leaping over the wall for I was completely surrounded and filled with the greatest love I had ever experienced. I burst into tears. People passing by saw this crazy, long haired Westerner sobbing his guts out. They just looked at me and smiled and continued on. I didn't know what was going on, but I had the clear sense of being home. There was absolutely no question that I was exactly where I wanted to be. A month before, I couldn't have imagined such an experience. But here I was, so relieved, so happy, my heart seemed to have burst open. Shortly afterward, we were allowed into the temple. Maharaji asked me all the usual questions, like who I was and where I was from and what I did. And then suddenly I found myself bowing with my head at his feet and feeling totally right about it. And he was patting me on the head, saying something like, "Welcome, glad to see you made it. Welcome aboard." All I wanted to do was to hang onto his feet, and I didn't care at all that this wasn't in any way consistent with my self image. My wife had met Maharaji and had come to get me in America and bring me back to meet him. When we first went to see Maharaji, I was put off by what I saw. All these crazy Westerners wearing white clothes and hanging around this fat old man in a blanket. More than anything else, I hated seeing Westerners touch his feet. On my first day there, he totally ignored me. But after the second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and seventh day, during which he also ignored me, I began to grow very upset. I felt no love for him. In fact, I felt nothing. I decided that my wife had been captured by some crazy cult. By the end of the week, I was ready to leave. We were staying at the hotel up in Nainital, and on the eighth day, I told my wife that I wasn't feeling well. I spent the day walking around the lake thinking that if my wife was so involved in something that was clearly not for me, it must mean that our marriage was at an end. I looked at the flowers, the mountains, and the reflections in the lake, but nothing could dispel my depression. And then I did something that I had really never done in my adult life. I prayed. I asked God, "What am I doing here? Who is this man? These people are all crazy. I don't belong here." Just then I remembered the phrase, "Had ye but faith, ye would not need miracles." Okay, God, I don't have any faith. Send me a miracle. I kept looking for a rainbow, but nothing happened, so I decided to leave the next day. The next morning, we took a taxi down to Kanchi to the temple to say goodbye. Although I didn't like Maharaji, I thought I would just be very honest and have it out with him. We got to Kanchi before anyone else was there, and we sat in front of his tucket. Tucket means wooden bed on the porch. Maharaji had not yet come out from inside the room. There was some fruit on the tucket, and one of the apples had fallen on the ground, so I bent over to pick it up. Just then Maharaji came out of his room and stepped on my hand, pinning me to the ground. So there I was on my knees, touching his foot. In that position I detested. How ludicrous! He looked down at me and asked, "Where were you yesterday?" Then he asked, "Were you at the lake?" he said lake in English. When he said the word lake to me, I began to get this strange feeling at the base of my spine, and my whole body tingled. I felt very strange. He asked me, "What were you doing at the lake?" I began to feel very tight. Then he asked, "Were you horseback riding?" "No." "Were you boating?" "No." "Did you go swimming?" "No." Then he leaned over and spoke quietly. "Were you talking to God? Did you ask for something?" When he did that, I fell apart and started to cry like a baby. He pulled me over and started pulling my beard and repeating, "Did you ask for something?" That really felt like my initiation. By then others had arrived and they were around me, caressing me. And I realized then that almost everyone there had gone through some experience like that. A trivial question, such as "Were you at the lake yesterday?" which had no meaning to anyone else, shattered my perception of reality. It was clear to me that Maharaj Ji saw right through all the illusions. He knew everything. By the way, the next thing he said to me was, "Will you write a book?" That was my welcome. After that, I just wanted to rub his feet. It was in London. I was on a bus with many empty seats. Then an old man carrying a blanket got on the bus and chose to sit on the window seat beside me, so that I had to stand up to let him in. This annoyed me somewhat, but as he sat down, he gave me such a sweet, gentle smile that I forgot my annoyance and sat thinking to myself, "What a sweet old man." Before the bus came to the next stop on its route, I turned to look at him again, but he was gone. The bus had not stopped again since he had gotten on. How could he have gotten off without my standing to let him pass? Later I went to India on the advice of a friend who had been there, and I saw a picture of Maharaj Ji. It was the same man. I located Maharaj Ji and found out that on the day I had seen him on the bus in London carrying a specific plaid blanket a woman in India had given Maharaj Ji just such a blanket which he was wearing that same day. The Indians also came to Maharaj Ji with varying degrees of desire and readiness, but for them it was different. They had grown up in a culture in which holy beings abounded, and the parents of most of them had gurus. For the family, the guru was a combination of grandfather, worldly and spiritual guide, and reflection or manifestation of God. They often treated Maharaj Ji more as a man and less as a god, and yet at the same time they could surrender more easily to him. For them, surrender was not a personal matter of ego as it was for us. In the group of stories about initial meetings described by some of Maharaj Ji's closest Indian devotees, both the differences of culture and the similarity of opening and love are apparent. I have known Maharaj Ji since I came into this world. My father and mother were both devotees, my father since 1940 and my mother since 1947, because our parents were devotees and because he was always being discussed in our family, we were all born devotees of him. I first met Maharaj Ji in Bhowali many years ago. Maharaj Ji frequently visited a certain Ma's home there. I told her that I had heard about him but had never met him, and I asked her to tell me the next time to came. After a week or so, Maharaj Ji came at night. In the morning, a message came for me, and I went at once. I found him laying on a cot. He looked at me, then closed his eyes for a moment. He knew at once who I was, who I had been before, and what I was going to do in this world. In a few seconds, he said, I am very pleased to see you, which he repeated many times. Maharaj Ji had walked from Nainital to Bhopali during the night. He said, You have brought me here. I shall see you again in Haldwani. Then Maharaj Ji boarded a bus for Almora. In those days he travelled mostly by bus, not by car. People warned me not to take him seriously. Neem Karoli is a big liar. He very seldom tells the truth. You can't depend on him. In any case, I went to Haldwani. After a few days, someone came to my room and told me that Maharaj Ji had come to Haldwani and gave me his address. I saw him then and have been with him ever since. The section Bees Come is long, so further story will be narrated to all devotees in next episode. To listen the wonderful stories of Maharaj Ji, please like, share, subscribe the channel, and don't forget to ring the bell icon. Write in the comment box Jai Neem Karoli Babaji Maharaj.